Yo, what is going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown Your Questions, episode 363. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and tonight I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
Sup, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
Yo, 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 yo.
Adam Vale.
Free Sunday.
Brett Murdoch.
What's up?
And Brian Manjoma.
Ooh, the VP got in trouble.
Oh boy. Yo, by the way, this is the first time in a while where we started the show with the whole crew. We're all here.
It's like old times.
Yeah, man. Assemble like Voltron, you know? Brian, by the way, we didn't get any questions about that particular subject.
No one really cares though, because he's not one of the heads. If it was our boy Ryan, then yes, but it's not. It's another behind the scenes dude.
He's a senior VP of PlayStation Network. He's been there 9 years.
But he's not a face that people give a shit. If it was a face, because that's
all
he's
he's definitely a face now.
Oh, now now he's a face.
Yeah, you know, I'm not gonna say, but you guys know exactly what subject we're talking about, and I think the reason a lot of people aren't talking about it is just because it's just so nasty and shit. And Carlos and I were talking off air, we're like, yo, this shit's probably gonna blow up tomorrow. No, it's done. Sony nipped it.
It's weird,
it's
isn't
over. It's crazy. It was like, that's it. It's over.
No, they probably have a zero tolerance for that shit. They're like, nope, we ain't gonna wait for this shit to go to trial. You're done.
Fuck that. You know.
I think that's why you haven't heard a lot about it, Tony. Is like, what else do you want him to do? Like, they terminated with extreme prejudice.
Yeah. No, but I'm talking about, we didn't hear a lot about it before, because this popped off on like Friday night. Understand?
Yeah. You know, well, here's the thing. I think a lot of times this kind of thing happens after, you know, internet people do some sleuthing and some digging and things like that. This was literally just, he got caught in some Dateline shit. And like it so I think it just kind of flew out of nowhere, because I'm pretty sure people that have that much money have a way to, you know, have ways of covering their tracks. So it's not like this is a thing that people, you know, thought was happening and now they've proved it or anything. I think everybody just kind of went, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then Sony went, fuck you, you're fired. And they went, okay, well, I mean, that's, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously if they would have tried to, like, stick up for the guy, it would be major. It would probably be the biggest news of the week. But Sony said, fuck that, you're gone. And that's it. You know?
I think that's, like, the one thing that, like, even other prisoners hate that shit. So, like, that's the one thing, like, everyone's like, nope, nobody's going to come to your defense on that one, man. Like, it was like, but he's a great guy otherwise. Like, no.
No, not with that. No, you're 100% right about that. You can have fucking serial killers. They look down on that. You know, you can't get lower than that. That is, like, literally the lowest thing you could do as a human being. Straight up killing somebody is actually, like, that's actually less worse than that. You know what I'm saying? So, this dude needed to go.
Like, what do you do? Like, I sell children, or I sell drugs to children. Like, oh, that's bad. But that motherfucker over there, that guy.
You know, so Sony, good, axe that dude. You know, that's good that they did that shit. No tolerance for that nonsense. All right, without further ado, nobody asks us any questions, but we know we had to give your thoughts on that real quick, because it would have been the story if Sony decided to do the wrong thing and try to salvage this guy. You know.
Yeah, and just to add more to it, it's I guess because I was wondering, and Tony mentioned it earlier, I was like, why is no one talking about this? And Chris was the one that let us all know, and I'm like, I saw the video, and it was like some YouTube channel I've never seen, and I'm like, okay, let me go to the news outlets, the typical news outlets.
Yeah,
it was nothing. So this just started off from this one place where. You know, I guess that's what they do. they catch these type of people, and man, the PlayStation 5 freaking shirt. It's like this. None of this looks good.
Bad timing.
Now
the interesting thing about that is, here's the other thing. I don't think this is going to unfortunately go a lot of places other than social repercussions, because these people, like they do like kind of like a cyber Dateline kind of thing, but. From what I was reading, what they find is not necessarily generally admissible for arrests and whatnot. So, like, they definitely turned it over to the police, but who knows?
Are these the same guys that were going after the YouTubers, and they caught that one dude and they brought his page down?
Yeah, basically, yeah, and it's okay. They're kind of getting a sort of like a social justice, which I mean, I don't agree with social justice because I feel like it's kind of mob mentality. Not using it as like the normal nomenclature, like actually like Anyway, but this time you have to be like, I mean, broken clocks right twice a day, so.
Yeah. This is the last thing I'll say this and move on. And I'm glad you said that, Brett, because I don't like this whole thing like, oh, look at the source. Don't trust it. Like, oh, the source, in some cases it does matter, but in this case, like, yeah, maybe they were fucked up before, but they got it right this time. So you shouldn't just dismiss a source outright when it comes to news. You should look at the actual evidence they're presenting and where they're getting it from instead of like, oh, that guy's a fucking bad reporter. I don't trust anything he says. Like, doesn't matter. You got to look at what the substance of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway,
the last few years before deepfake takes over and videos still count for something.
Jesus Christ. Anyway, let us move on. But yeah, good on you, Sony. No one should be surprised here with the big topic tonight is, or the big, the vast majority of questions are about. We're about the revamped PS Plus. Oh man. Uh-oh. So we're gonna go down the line here, but
you guys are gonna hate me tonight.
They always hate you, man.
I know. I'm bringing my A game today.
Yeah. So we're gonna go down the line here, but we've got a lot of the similar questions. We got Mebs here. He goes, "What are your thoughts on this supposed Sony Game Pass? Will it give value to? Will it give the value of or money on par with Microsoft is doing? Mop hits." All right, so that's Mebs' question is the general one, but we're going to go down the line here because there are several facets we got to cover. So the first question here is from Mebs. He goes, throughout the years, Sony fans have expressed their thoughts on Game Pass, stating that it's a cash grab from Microsoft or that it cannot sustain itself with the output in return. But here we are with Sony potentially launching its own subscription service that's counter to Game Pass. How can Sony maintain this subscription while giving their base what they need to, quote unquote, sustain their own services? So, go ahead.
To be honest, it's not their own subscription service. They already have a subscription service. You pay their subscription service for PlayStation Plus. All they did was kill off Gaikai or the or PlayStation Now and fold it into PlayStation Plus, which we've been saying forever. Yeah. Ever since, our show is old enough to where we were around when PlayStation Now was launched, and even then we were saying, why is this a separate service from PlayStation Plus?
I am pretty sure we've said this within the last month. Like, this is not a new topic for us. We say this all the time, you know?
We've been saying this since the PlayStation Vue days, where it's like, why isn't PlayStation Vue, Gaikai, and PS Plus not in the same subscription?
Yeah, why? Yeah, why? We literally have episodes of this current iteration of Throwdown of us talking about that specifically. When the PlayStation Vue came out, it's like, why isn't this part of it? Why can't you just pay this one thing? Number one, PlayStation could have nipped this shit right up in the butt.
In the bud, damn, in the bud, man. You can nip it in the bud.
Nip it right up in the butt. Nip that shit right before even Microsoft even thought of this stuff. But again, I feel like Sony has to sometimes, a lot of times, Sony is not about actually innovating. They're copycatting.
Mm-hmm. It's just a fact. They've done it before. Think about it. They copied trophies right from They copied the Move controller from Nintendo. They're copying this off of Microsoft.
Wait. They give it some time to see if it actually takes off, if it has longevity, if there's some people want. If it is, then they say okay.
Exactly. By the way, just real quick, for those who may not know, obviously our fans know, but just in case. Right, we are talking about the Jason Schreier article that he posted up on Bloomberg, talking about how Bloomberg received documents stating that PlayStation would be combining PS Now and PS Plus into what is effectively their answer to Xbox Game Pass. Right?
Are they calling it Project Spartacus?
Yeah, it's called Project Spartacus for now. Obviously, that's going to change. But they did say they do plan to completely axe PS Now, the name. The branding, that's done. It's just they said it's going to be PS Plus. Go ahead.
Now here's my question. They are changing it to be a 3-tier service. The first of which is your basic online functionality, like you can get online, play multiplayer games, right?
Yeah.
And then the other two are basically the free PlayStation Plus games that you already get, and then one that allows you like this kind of streaming, basically. So how is this fundamentally different than what we already have, other than a name change? Is my big question.
Well, that's the thing. It isn't different. It's just combined into one instead of two different services. Now you just get it all into one. That's the main difference. But you're right. And again, remember, Brett, we've said it before. Sony already had all this stuff. It was just in different areas. We've been saying, bring this shit together. Now they're finally doing it.
Now the question is.
No, go ahead. No, let me Brett first, and then you go,
okay,
Manny.
Oh, I was about to say they've obviously done a good job, because people are treating it like this is a new service or a new answer kind I when essentially it's just taking all these things and putting them together. So it's good advertising, it's good PR, it's well done. But I think a lot of people are forgetting we're not really getting a whole lot more than we already have, and we're not even getting more for the same price. It's not like it's being folded into your current subscription plan. You'll still pay the extra money for it.
We don't know the pricing yet, but basically
they did say they'll have 3 tiers with 3 prices.
Yeah, they did, but we don't know what the prices are yet. So we'll see. We'll see if we have to pay more. But the point is, it's basically just a consolidation of things that had already existed.
That was my question was. So here's the interesting thing. So if the way things are going, right, the way these things are, they introduced what seems like a low tier, which is the get online and play games stuff. The middle tier is you get free games every month, and then the ultimate one is you get
I'll read it.
You get free games every month plus the library of PlayStation or PlayStation titles.
So I'll just read directly from Jason Schreier's thing. The first tier would include existing PlayStation Now benefits, so everything you get PlayStation Plus you get now. I'm assuming that's also games as well, right? The second would offer a large catalog of PlayStation 4 and eventually PS5 games. None of these services have PlayStation 5 games yet. Keep that in mind. Right. The existing ones that we have now do not offer PlayStation 5 games. So eventually, and the third tier would add extended. This is interesting. Would add extended demos, game streaming, and a library of classic PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games. That's something we don't have either.
Interesting. So
well, we kind of do. PS Now does PS1.
Oh, does it do PSP?
I don't know about
that. That's the part I'm saying. We don't have that. We don't have that. It does stream those other first 3, not PSP. Correct me if I'm wrong, people. Go ahead, Brian.
That was Chris.
Oh, that was Chris. Chris, go ahead.
Oh no, I was agreeing with you. We didn't have PSP games on there. As for the value of this, well, I think PS Now and PS Plus should have been combined a long time ago.
Yes.
Or at least it should have been part of the subscription. It's like you have to pay tier upon tier for extra stuff. It's like, you get PS Now. It's like, well, I pay for PS Plus. Do I get even a discount? No, you don't get a discount. It's just a separate thing. It's like they should have been doing this a long time. And now, after insulting Game Pass, now they see the success of it. It's like, we need an answer for it. So now we
remember. Jim Ryan himself said that a service like Game Pass devalues games.
Yes,
he said this in no uncertain terms. He said that, So it's kind of interesting the about face, and this is something I'll get to. I'll say it now, right? Because at the moment, it doesn't seem that we have day-and-date games, right? Like PlayStation 5 games will not automatically be on there with day one at the moment. I believe that will happen eventually. I think that will happen eventually.
Now, I can understand thinking it will happen eventually, but you can't base the decision now off that.
It's not happening. No, it's not happening now.
Not you. I've seen a lot of people automatically assume, and this is what kind of gets me when people are like, "Oh, this is the answer to Xbox's Game Pass." The main feature of Xbox Game Pass is popular games day one.
Yeah,
and current games. Parties. Yeah, all first parties, which is a fuckload now that they've just gone and bought everybody. But it's also, it does have fairly recent games. There is a slew of other stuff in there, don't get me wrong, but I don't think that's the main draw. So, two things. Number one, I don't see them doing day and date. Number two, I don't see them having the war chest or the financial ability to kind of take the hits that Microsoft does. So I'm not actually sure that this is completely an analog to.
It's actually no company can do what Microsoft can when it comes to war chests,
unless it's Apple or something.
I'm gonna say this. You know what this is? It's literally a combination of what Nintendo's doing and what Microsoft is doing.
Yeah.
They have the streaming version of all the games, and the final tier is you get the older games.
It's funny because we have a question about that. Literally about that. Somebody goes like, "Hey, what isn't this just what Nintendo's doing?"
It's literally Nintendo. It's like partly Nintendo, partly Microsoft, partly Nintendo.
Well, to rebut Brett, this is Sony's answer to Game Pass. It's just not as good. But
that's the thing. They're setting themselves up because that's the first thing everyone's going to do. Just like with everything else, you compare. And I'm like, oh, look, we're offering this. I was like, yeah, can you get day one and stuff? Or are we going to get God of War, the new one? No. Okay, then.
Yeah. And also the whole thing with with ponies, because I've been checking the Twitters.
We got to talk about those ponies, Brett.
They're in denial. I agree with Tony. I think eventually, maybe a year or no, like 5 years from now.
I'm not giving it a timeline. As Carlos, you go first. I need to explain myself, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think maybe 5, couple of years from now, we'll start getting those. But obviously, like Brett mentioned, we can't take that into account now because obviously they're not doing it. But yeah, Sony fans, ponies in particular.
Ponies.
They're like, God of War is never going to get into this, or like the first party stuff, they refuse to believe any of that's ever going to hit Game Pass this generation.
Yeah, and you know why, right? Because they've been shitting on Xbox Game Pass for an entire generation. Now they can't look in their eyes stupid and embrace this, so they got to hate on it. I'm like, but it's a Sony service. You should be loving it. And here's my reasoning for why I think Sony games will be day and date eventually, right? Just like Game Pass is a thing now on PlayStation, right? 5 years ago, we were no, they're never going to do shit like that. Sony copies, man. So they will get to it eventually. That's my reasoning behind it. Understand?
The only time they didn't copy is when they decided their solution for backward compatibility was through streaming.
Yeah,
that was what would be considered an innovative idea. Though they didn't make that internally. They literally just bought a company that did it. So I mean. The one thing about Sony, yes, they advance in a lot of different portions of technology and things, but a lot of the time they're just looking at what's out there and literally pulling the copying the answers.
Yep.
And especially when you have two other companies that are doing two different, slightly different different things from each other. You literally just copy all the answers from all the other ones and then combine them into whatever. But again. This should have been done years ago when they introduced PlayStation Now. As part of PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now should have been included with it.
Yeah.
Talk about the secret weapon that they seem to be missing as well. Tony.
Yes.
Where do you play your Xbox games at?
PC.
PC?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So would you say that? Well, I'll just go here. I know a lot of people that play their outlet to Xbox games is their PC. And the kind of insidious, ingenious thing here is that a lot of them don't technically realize they're part of the Xbox ecosystem. They're part of their money generating machine. They're just like, oh, I'm not an Xbox, or I'm not an Xbox. Like, dude, you give them $30 a month.
Yeah, or what's it, $15 a month?
No, yeah. But I'm saying, like, you buy shit in there, like, it's one of those, like, you're spending money, even if you don't have an Xbox. I mean, Xbox is probably the least important part of the ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
Sony has not shown that same propensity to want to push things on multiple platforms, including the PC. So even this, like, they're like, yes, you have a service, but how many devices is this service accessible through?
I think
it looks like it's just PlayStation now. I'm Brett. Hold on, man. I'm glad you said that because that's the thing with Sony. Microsoft can afford to just not sell Xboxes. I'm being literal right now. They could just not sell Xbox. They wouldn't give a fuck. They'll be fine. Sony will sell PlayStation. The company's done, right?
Yeah,
so this service is probably just going to be exclusive to Sony. You know?
Yeah, I think that the thing, Tony's right about that. I think the minute that they start to extend themselves too much within the window of demand, then it makes their own console moot.
Yeah,
and I think at least it.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, but again, they're putting a couple games on PC here or there, a bunch of older games, but day-and-day games on PC, that I do not see happening. I don't see that happening at all. You have a better chance of it happening on their own system, but like on somebody else's shit, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to undermine the thing that's making them a lot of money currently. You know, even. I mean, I'm not sure what the numbers are these days, especially with with all the shortages and stuff. But Sony stuff is still pretty far up there, and it would literally undermine their own business if they did that. You don't see Nintendo doing anything like that.
Yeah, no. Sony needs to sell consoles.
They're literally locking that. For Nintendo's idea of this same thing is literally, yes, you can get all these old games, but you have to play them on a Nintendo console. So I think if their whole business strategy would have to change around in order to accommodate essentially PlayStation the service as opposed to PlayStation the console.
I absolutely agree, but this whole thing is just giving me vibes of bringing a GoBot to a Transformers party.
Well, they are copying,
Well, no, it's not just a copy. It's a not as good copy. Like that's where I'm going with this is. So like on the surface you're giving the same thing, but you're not giving a lot of the key things that I think are actually things that bring unique value to Game Pass. I mean,
you know what this is? This is not GoBots. That's a pure knockoff. This is what happens when because Takara created the Transformers, they're the originals, right? Then Hasbro bought the rights to all the robots and changed all their stories around, and you're getting sort of a lesser version of whatever the originals were. And that's what it sort of is. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, just missing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, for now at least,
for now.
What Mob Hits says, what do you say? How good is any of this news if they end up streaming the games and the infrastructure's not there? Infrastructure, I mean, again, if you live in a big city, you're good. Xbox Game Pass games, cloud games, you're fine,
I mean, maybe they are going to do it because they partnered with Azure.
Yeah, I mean, they're teamed up with Azure right now.
Yeah, so Microsoft, by the way.
Which is Microsoft. So Azure's probably the is next to Google's thing. They're probably the best thing. Even isn't Nintendo even using Azure?
No. I don't know. We don't know about that. By the way, Blitz says, to be fair, us are assuming it's not a good service. We're just going off of what it is. The component parts that are available now. We're judging it off of that, and that's what it seems like they're doing. Personally, I think it is going to be a good service. In my opinion, don't like what the other guys are saying. I think it's going to be a good service.
No, Tony, I can't let you do that.
Why not?
We don't know the price yet.
No, you're right. You're right. If that shit's like $70 a month, then it's not a good service.
Hell no.
You're right, man. You're right.
The pricing is also key to this, because if we're going down this line, but essentially the PlayStation Plus, the current PlayStation Plus version is our current is essentially the low tier. Then what are the two other tiers like?
Yeah, Mob Hits goes, so you guys are saying the only reason this is happening is because of Microsoft's Azure. No, we're not saying that. We're saying this is happening because they're seeing what Microsoft is, doing with Game Pass, like shit. Azure has already been a thing for PlayStation. It's already been in place for 2 years now. So that's not a new thing. That's not a new thing.
Microsoft didn't develop that. Didn't they buy the seed of that project themselves? Like, I don't think they
Yeah. Microsoft owns Azure, they own that shit, and Sony has to pay Microsoft,
Yeah, I don't think they grew from the ground up though. Like if we're talking about giving props here, like I'm pretty sure Microsoft bought that technology and then just kind of upgraded it. So in a way, yes, this is only happening because of Azure, but the same way, like in the same vein, Azure is only happening because Microsoft had bought it from someone else. And the other thing I want to put out there is I don't think we're saying, at least I'm not saying, that this is a bad service. What I'm saying is it's not necessarily comparable to Game Pass in that on the surface it does the same thing, but below the surface it really doesn't. And what I personally mean by that, I can't speak for anybody else, but what I personally mean by that is I think it's erroneous to try and compare this to Game Pass. I think that the true success of this will be letting it stand on its own legs as its own independent service and really just pushing the wealth of backlog that PlayStation has. If you try and say, this is PlayStation's Game Pass, it's going to look lacking in comparison, at least until Sony starts throwing games on there day and date, which I agree with Tony, they'll eventually do because they're forced to.
Yeah. That's just how it is, man. All right.
Can I just add something really quick?
Yeah, go ahead. We still got a bunch of questions about this, but go ahead. Yeah.
Looking at Azure on the Wikipedia, it looks like Microsoft built it.
Ah, okay. So
I thought it was named something else, and they acquired it.
I thought it was it an OnLive that Microsoft had?
No, I think it was called was it Groove, something like that.
No, that's not the back end because they used Azure for Enterprise. That was what that whole thing was for. It had nothing to do with any of the gaming stuff. It was always just on their Enterprise end.
I think it's always been Microsoft. I mean, I can't even remember it ever not being Microsoft.
No. Yeah,
I could be wrong. I could be confusing with the like the OnLive or something. I swore there was some kind of streaming service or something like that, or cloud service that they bought from somebody and then developed into something else. But I could be wrong. I'm not in front of my PC right now, so I can't check.
On my PC.
On my PC?
Yep.
Oh, speaking about that, we got to bring up the elephant in the room. You know? If there's a little bit of contention on Throwdown behind the scenes with this topic. This is not a question, but I'm just introducing this element in here. So if this thing has all these old PlayStation games in one service, has Hip Hop Gamer been justified? Vilified? Or what is it? Yeah, justified.
I don't know. Is it remastering them?
Here's the thing, and I've said this on the show when he was on, because he claims it's going to be the remastering engine, right, where you pop in old disc and it'll play. I said I don't think it's going to work like that. I think you'll be able to download these games or maybe stream them. That's about it, bro. You know.
But at that time there was already a streaming service that streamed PlayStation games.
But yeah, I don't know about this.
There's a difference between a remaster engine and being backwards compatible. That's the line in the sand that I draw. Yeah,
and I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say, because if you're not going to be able to put your disc in, then technically he was wrong. You know.
Well, then, like if it were like an AI or a program or something like that just automatically beefed up everything, sans textures or something like that, like if it were an overlay program that added some, if it were something that boosted it more than. Hey, I mean, we've got
to be fair, it could be that. It could be that.
It could be. That's why I'm reserving my. You know, I personally don't. I don't think it's gonna just automatically boost anything more than just the native hardware will.
Yeah.
And that's where again my distinction comes. It has to boost it more than the native hardware boost would. Otherwise, it's again just backwards compatible.
Yeah.
If you play PlayStation, I think
that's fair.
Essentially, pretty much what what's those? What was it? What Microsoft has on their side, which they have their.
They have a name for it. They call it Boost, don't they? Something Boost.
No, is it called?
Somebody in the chat tell me. You know what I'm talking about.
Where it upgrades some of the older games.
Yeah. All right. So the jury's still out on the remastering engine. Then we still got to see.
That's what because he had said that, and I think. Well, the Xbox does it because I know, like the outfit in some of the older games, they said you can put in the disc and it will play it. It doesn't just apply to the downloaded copies of it.
Yeah. By the way, obviously, Blitz keeps saying the rumor's a rumor. Yes, it is a rumor, but I think it's real. Again, we've been hearing rumblings about this for a while now, and again, Sony likes to copy, so I'm going with this is real, even though yes, it is a rumor. Take it as such, but I believe this is like more than concrete. And say what you will, Benjamin Schreier, I don't like the guy personally, but the dude's usually on the money with this stuff. You know,
Tony.
Yeah,
it's like Thanos. It was inevitable.
Oh,
it really was.
It was bound to happen. Think about it. Sony already was dipping their toe into this with the the PlayStation something
Games,
collection,
games collection.
So it's already there. It was already there. The seeds were already there, Anyway, let's keep going down the line here because we got, again, a lot of questions about this, but just different aspects of it. Mob hits also. Will the new PlayStation Plus continue having PS3 stream games, or will you be able to download them to your PS4 or PS5? We don't know. I think it's still going to be streamed. Unless they magically found some way to get that shit to work. Well, I think it's just going to be streamed.
Just emulate. We know they can emulate because they were doing it
PS3
internally.
Games.
Internally, yeah, they were internally emulating, and there's emulators out there now that you can get.
Are they any good?
Work.
Yeah,
some of them.
Wait, hold on. We got to back up because maybe I missed something. Sony has been internally emulating PS3 games.
They have their own. That's how they can run them on computers.
No, they're running them off PlayStation 3s, dude.
Yeah, there's actual PlayStation 3s.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, that's literally what they're doing.
You can say that, but I'm just saying, if you can emulate it now, I have a PS3 emulator, and I can play some of the games now.
Yeah, but Adam, it's kind of wonky.
They can't do it.
Yeah,
Adam, this random ass modder has better textures in the GTA Definitive Edition, but somehow Rockstar doesn't have the good textures.
Yeah, because they don't care. They don't put the time.
Yeah, but just get that out. This is not an opinion. This is a fact. Sony, those games that you're streaming off PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, those PS3 games are running off actual PS3 consoles. That's just a fact.
That shit's funny. Yeah. But it's also Adam, because remember the PlayStation 3 wasn't x86.
Yeah,
it was its own architecture that apparently is just a pain in the ass to work with.
And that's what I told Hip Hop. Like with regards to the remastering engine, I could see PS1, PS2 games, PS4 games running on PS5. PS3, that's a whole other story right there.
Dude, Steam is like the whole molecule thing made me change my mind on that shit. Like, I did not, I was with you. I was kind of like, I don't know that you can just like build an overarching program that basically translates into another format that's readable by x86. But after seeing the molecule shit, I'm like, apparently it's fucking possible to do this kind of thing. So
my question to you, Brett, is will Sony do that or go the easy route and just let you stream this shit?
That's the reason they're streaming this shit on PS3s. Is unfortunately it is more financially responsible for them to just do workarounds than to actually get in there and fidget with the cell architecture code. I think that's why we're not seeing. It's not that they can't. It's not that it's not possible. And it's not that even fucking modders can't do it at their house. It's just it's not worth the money to them when they can just kind of work around it. I mean, how much money are they really going to make off of, re-releasing a PS3 game on PSN? And how many coders are they going to have to put on that? How many people are going to have to go through and custom translate this fucking thing? Or they're going to have to dump a shitload of money in R&D into something that that works like Molecule. But again, the payoff is cool. Well, now we can sell a bunch of PS3 games for $5 a pop.
I don't know if they're going to sell them individually, but they could. They could do that too. Although that'd be fucked up if they're selling you a streaming game for $5. That's the reason we didn't like Stadia. That bullshit.
Well, no, the streaming thing. They can keep streaming them off of PS3s all day long, kind of thing.
Yeah, I just don't think they're going to sell individual PS3 stream games. I don't know if they're going to do that. That'd be bad.
If they sunk the money to build an engine that basically was a remastering engine like that, something along the lines of Molecule, you bet your ass they'd be recouping that money.
Yeah, well, through the subscription service itself, wouldn't it be that way? Instead of like, hey, give us $5 for this game.
See, that's what I'm saying. If it were financially responsible for them to do that, they would have done that already. Clearly, they're more along the lines of like, we're not going to make enough money for it to be worth it, so fuck it, we're not dealing with it.
Yeah, then again, we have to see what they're going to do with respect to the PlayStation 3 games.
Yeah. Also, and I'm not sure if this. I just want to throw this out there. What's with these premium access to demos? The fuck is that bullshit?
We don't know.
Oh, that isn't that. We talked about this on the show. It's literally an old thing left over from the original place when PlayStation Plus was launched that everyone fucking forgot because they only used it for garbage games.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, so either somebody's gonna bother to. Go ahead.
So now only reason why anybody's giving a shit about it is because they actually put games that people could actually care about on there. I think Death Stranding and I forgot the other one that was on there. That was an actual game. But the problem with it is that the demo begins as soon as you begin the download.
Yeah. Well,
it gives you. I can't remember how many hours it gives you, but yeah, if you have a slow connection, it's eating up your fucking time. That was the drawback of this bullshit. But the reason why they did it that way is because the previous version of this, the biggest issue is that you could essentially jank the system and essentially get a totally free game because you could just do some jiggering to kind of get it to work, to get it to work.
I do remember how the demo completely ruined Monster Hunter, so yes, I would agree with that.
Yeah. By the way, Mighty Nerd, he goes, you're wrong. PlayStation 4 can emulate PlayStation 3. Look at God of War Remaster and Nathan Drake Collection. That's not emulation, dude.
Those are those are what are called, and I know you guys don't understand this, a port.
Yes, it's a port. It's not emulation at all, dude.
It's not emulation. It's literally a port.
Yeah, that's the big difference there. Kishak, he goes, won't they have to make a new store to sell PS3 games on the PS5? How are they going to get licenses renewed? Remember, these PS3 games already exist on PS Now. The licensing and all that stuff, that's good to go. But I don't believe
they're gonna have new stuff.
They're not gonna have new PS3 games. No. But here's the thing. I suspect. By the way, I don't go with the theory that they're gonna sell you individual PS3 games. That's ridiculous. It's gonna be part of this service. But as for licensing, the licenses are already done. Those games are available right now on PS Now. They're available at the moment. So licensing is done. That's good to go.
Yeah. So I think the one thing about it is that certain, who knows how much of it is going to, what titles are not going to be available. I don't know if because remember, there's also a limit on what, on the titles that are on there. I can't remember how many titles they have on in general and what the rate of removal is. Yeah.
Yeah, because they do, get rid of some games and stuff.
Mm-hmm. But, I remember somebody said how many titles that they had on there.
It was 800, wasn't it? It was a lot of games.
It was a lot of games.
Yeah.
So I wonder if...
Oh, good.
Do you think we'll be able to, much like when we download a PS Plus game now, if we're not subscribed to PS Plus, we still have that game. I know that's not really the rules for Game Pass, so when they add all of these new games, do you think that we're going to lose them when they go off the service, or do you think we're going to keep the standard set that we keep these fucking games?
Well, if you download a game from PS, this is the current model. If you download a quote-unquote free game off PS Plus and you stop subscribing to PS Plus, you no longer have access to that game. So I'm going to assume it's going to be the same deal.
Yeah, but I mean, then when you pay back,
but are they time-based? Are they going to be time-based?
Then when you pay it back again, then they're all there waiting for you.
Yeah, you didn't lose it. Yeah, the question is Xbox has them kind of time-based, PlayStation doesn't. What do you think we're going to see them time-based? Do you think we're going to see them stay?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
That's the thing. It's all time-based on Xbox. Even if you download it, let's say if I have some games on
my
it's
still
Xbox
time-based,
and I haven't played, when I go to play it, it's going to tell me, hey, you want to buy it? We'll give you a discount, but it's no longer on Game Pass.
And just to bring your point, Brett, about how this is different than Game Pass, they need to introduce that. It's like, hey, this game's going to go away. You want to buy it at a discount? Sony doesn't offer anything like that at the moment. They don't offer a discount on a game. Correct me if I'm wrong, people in the chat. Let me know. But a free game that goes off, how PS Plus has free games every month or whatever. When the month is coming, they could be like, hey, you want to just buy this game? They don't have that.
Or they could keep the same format that they have and use that as an advantage against Game Pass. Don't you hate when your Game Pass game leaves Game Pass? Well, on PlayStation, as long as you're subscribed to PlayStation Plus, it's always going to fucking be there.
That's a good point. Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they're going to have to leverage certain advantages to be competitive with Game Pass.
Because I know on that end, though, that's where the contracts with the publishers come in. Because Microsoft is paying these publishers a certain amount of money for a certain amount of time. So will Sony be able to make some kind of new deal where there is no time? It's infinite.
Yeah. I don't know. But I don't know the rate of games leaving PS Now to make that claim. I don't know. I legit do not know what it is. All right, more questions with this topic here. Chakzilla, this is more of a big statement. Everybody should welcome the Sony news. It's good for gamers and benefits the consumer. If you don't want to, you don't have to subscribe to it. Were you surprised to see Sony follow Game Pass when they are still outselling Xbox by a big margin and PS Plus offers way better value than games with gold. Sony also has the PS Plus collection, which has all top tier first party games. Basically, they are just adding PS Now to PS Plus in a bundle until the actual announcement. It's speculation, but do you think it is an overreaction to the positive Xbox reviews and news cycle lately with Forza and Halo and not having any big first party leads for holiday? All right, we got to back that up. We got to break this down a little bit.
He answered his own question.
I think he did. But here's the thing. I want to make this clear. Sony didn't just decide to do this within the last month. This has been going on for a while. These deals do not just happen overnight. They didn't go, oh shit, Forza's doing great. Halo's doing great in November. We need an answer, right? Maybe they gave us the news earlier than they expected to, but I guarantee you this has been being worked on for at least a year or two minimum.
Yeah, it's like, policy changes and stuff like this are not like light switches. You don't just turn it on. There's a fair amount of development, there's a fair amount of research that goes into this before they do it. Again, they could have done this years ago.
Yeah.
You know what? I bet this happened. I bet that this started getting tossed around more when Microsoft got Bethesda.
About a year ago?
Yeah.
I think it's been happening before that, to be honest. But go ahead, Brian.
I about to say the same thing as Brett, and to sort of answer the question, I actually don't think that this is an overreaction. I think this is an underreaction, because if you actually look at what Game Pass gives you, whatever PlayStation is trying to propose, it's way less than what Game Pass is at the moment, and this is my general problem with what Sony does. Sony lacks vision and Sony lacks conviction in my eyes. Everything that they do, majority of everything that they've done in the last 10 years has been copying off someone else to some degree. Again, Tony just listed them, like the Move stuff, PS Now, this now, it's just been, hey, this is popular over there, let's try and do that. And then I say that they lack conviction because they never really put effort behind anything that they do. They kind of just they put it out there, and then it just flounders, and then it's left there to die. Classic example, the Vita. They put it out there. Again, Vita is a great system. Sony put it out there. They didn't support it, and then it just left to die. PlayStation Collection, and I actually need to go back and check the episodes we did last year, because I think I made a bet with Riku that they won't add anything after a year's time, and they still have not added anything to that damn collection. It's been the same games since launch. So I just need to double check that, because again, they don't have conviction. They just kind of put it out there, they do nothing with it, and then it's just left to flounder. PS Now, put it out there, did nothing with it, it's left to flounder. I think the same thing will happen here. They'll just put it out there. They'll do as little work as needed to make it into a thing, and then they'll just leave it, and then that'll be the end of that. They won't try to do anything exciting like what Microsoft has done, where it's like, hey, let's do day one games, let's do exclusives. Well, let's do our games on there all the time. Let's try and get third-party exclusives on there as well. Let's get EA games on there. Again, Microsoft trying to do something and trying to add to it. Sony, they'll just kind of we'll put it out there and then we'll call it a day. Remember, I think 3 months, 2 years ago, Sony had it where you could vote on the games to be in PSN Plus. And then suddenly they just stopped that. Why? No one really knows. They just hey, let's do a vote, and then they stopped it. And then they had that weird time where it's hey, you can Days of Play or something like that, where they had these random games for free that everyone could buy because everyone was stuck indoors. They did that twice, nothing ever again. So I honestly don't think that this will be any use to anyone in the long run, because Sony will just put it out there and they'll say, hey, give us our money, we'll just give you the same crap as before, we're doing as little as possible, we're not trying to move the needle, we're just putting it out there, and then it'll be left to die, and that's a shame.
Yeah, remember the ears? Exactly.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Brian, Blitz wants you to name all the stuff Microsoft left to die.
This is not about Microsoft. This is about Sony. this is, again, the whole point is that we're talking about what Sony is doing, and I'm saying that I have extreme reservations because this company has shown time and time again that it has a bad habit of doing that, and it's annoying. So I don't see what this has to do with Microsoft.
Well,
I don't want to. Well,
yeah, Kishak says the Zoom's a success. Well, you already know what's happening here.
But it's not going to work because I'm not going to go down that road with you because he's just trying to say, oh, but what about Microsoft? Like, I don't care about your whataboutisms. Like, this is not the time for that. Like, I don't argue whataboutisms anymore. They're just not worth my time. Like, this is about Sony. We're talking about Sony, hence we talk about Sony. Like, if you want to bring Microsoft into here, then that's a question. But no, question is here. Sony's doing this. I have reservations about Sony doing this for these reasons. So yeah. If you want to rebut me, then rebut my reasons. Don't do a whataboutism.
Yeah.
You guys remember PSVR?
Well, that's still doing good. They're still doing good. To be fair, they're still doing good.
Are they pushing the needle?
Yeah, it's like they just dipped their toes and left it dip.
Yeah, it's just
a tip.
Yeah, I'm gonna say this though. Its success was just coincidental. Like, oh, people actually like this. I guess we better put more stuff out there. you know?
I think a lot of times it's for Sony. It's toe dips. It's a lot of toe dips. Even PlayStation Now was a toe dip because they obviously were not going to spend all that on it. All the PlayStation Now was supposed to be was a solution to your backward compatibility issue that they have. They weren't even going to develop anything specifically for it until they, or not specifically for it, but that's why they built that service just to be the replacement of the backward compatibility. And then eventually it was expanded to include the next more next generation games. So
and that's
go ahead.
Oh, and sorry, and that's the whole thing with what Brian's saying. They dipped their toes. Not only did they just dip their toes on the technology, on all that stuff, with the marketing. It's like, when is the last time you've seen a PSVR commercial or a PlayStation Now commercial or or anything like that? Like, it seems like it does it. Like, the only thing that I ever see is like the actual systems and the first party titles and some of the third party titles that it's like, oh, like, trying to make it sound like Call of Duty's only coming on PlayStation. That's the only time I ever see those stuff advertised. The Vita, it's like that thing just came and went, even though Vita's life, and all that stuff. It's just And but to be honest, I'm gonna rebut Brian.
Whoa.
I feel like whatever service they're gonna release, I think that's just gonna be. There's nothing really more to it, at least in the initial stages, because the only reason that they're releasing this is because Game Pass is a high margin, revenue project. They're making a lot more money from subscriptions from people than they are from the actual consoles. So especially when we have chip shortages, we have all these things that are high demand but no supply, and how else are we going to sell more stuff to the people? It's like, subscription services, they're making a shit ton of money and they don't cost nearly as much as fabricating, shipping, and getting consoles to people. It's like, it's a no-brainer.
Well, now hold on a second. Are you saying that it because the base of this question was, is this an overreaction or not, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
No, it isn't. Again, this has been in the works for a while. By the way, Brian, Blitz is not happy with your response because he says you are comparing them to Microsoft, so you have to list Microsoft's projects that they've dropped.
No, I am purely saying that looking at what Sony has done, they do two things, and these two things annoy me. The first thing is that they copy what other people do. And then the second thing is that they don't really commit to what they have done. And that's what I see is going to happen here, is that they'll copy what Game Pass are doing, but they won't do all the cool stuff that Game Pass is doing with its service, i.e. day one exclusives, third-party stuff, and all that stuff. There'll be no cloud stuff. You can't play it on your phone. You can't play it on your PC. All that cool stuff that Game Pass is doing as well. Sony won't be doing that. Again, that's fine.
Correct me if I'm wrong though. Isn't PS Now on PC?
Yes, PS Now is is it? I think
yes.
Yes.
But yeah, again, it's the idea of like, if you take like a big circle of what Game Pass is doing, this PlayStation thingamajig is like a small circle of that larger circle. It's not doing as much as Xbox is, which some people can state, okay, maybe because it's like they're just starting out, they're just doing it now, okay, so give them some time to get their feet wet and then expand. But then the problem is Sony don't expand. They just keep dipping the toe, and that's it. And that's the problem that I have as well, is that they won't be adding anything extra after this. They'll just kind of keep it as this, and that's it. And then that's how they leave things to die.
See, I'm curious about the difference in draw distance and memory, so to speak. Like, here's the thing I'm not getting. Personally, my argument comes in that no, I don't think this is an overreaction, because Sony has always stood on its exclusives. If they know what's good for them, and if they have been paying any attention, they realize that Microsoft has been pushing their immense fucking war chest to be able to catch up on that front. And they've made good fucking progress, right? Like, we haven't seen the results of this yet, but again, and I've said this before, I'm going to keep beating a dead horse until I can point back 2 years from now, showing I'm right. Microsoft hasn't released a lot yet, but the amount of studios that they've bought and the type of studios that they bought are guaranteed to release some mainline games, right? Like, if we actually look at the scope into the future in terms of exclusives, for some reason on the PlayStation side, we all sit there and we're like, whoa, we know God of War is going to happen. It's going to be a PlayStation exclusive. Well, fuck yeah, we know that. But for some reason, everybody was caught off guard by Starfield being an Xbox exclusive, which we've all been saying on this podcast. Yeah, get ready for these huge franchises to be Microsoft exclusives. So, that being said, when Microsoft has somewhat leveled their playing field, I feel like Sony did the kind of smart thing, looked back at them and said, okay, well, we're going to try and adopt some of your successful policies as well. There's nothing wrong with that. That's business, but I don't think that that's an overreaction, and I don't think that that's having to do with anything along the lines of like, oh, well, they don't have any mainline games this Christmas. Like, well, yeah, that's actually honestly been written on the wall for quite a long time now. We've talked about this. I've talked about this. They came out with a strong showing at first, but as it's slated around year 2, maybe year 3, you're going to start to see some heavy competition in terms of exclusives. And I think Sony's seeing that, and I think that they're taking steps to avoid being backed into a corner a year or 2 from now. So we're only looking at the little bit right now. We're trying to plot a graph, but this isn't the end goal. This isn't the end game. We're not going to see how these consoles actually unfurl until halfway through their generation, like always. But I think this is a game of chess, and everybody is setting up their pieces to try and dominate at a point not right now. And I think to look at it just right now is a bit short-sighted. Because again, who knows what this could develop into with PlayStation. They're probably have to be pushed a little bit, but once this thing is day and date, it's going to be much more of a competitor. I still agree with Brian. I don't think it's going to give you all the things that Game Pass gives you, because Microsoft is a little bit more bold and willing to lose money a little bit more. Because they can. I mean, it's not a virtue. They're a fucking company. But as a company, they can afford to lose money, so they can afford to take some chances, and that's why they've been catching up. They've been beaten down for so fucking long that you got to realize they've been clawing their way up, and they've been throwing a shitload of money at that problem, and it's starting to bear fruit. And so Sony's reacting to that, not necessarily the things that just happened in the last couple of months.
Yeah, they can
all right.
money in one area.
Hold on, the comments are getting silly right now. Guys, we're not. Do you know how pedantic that would be for us to go? Oh, let's list all the things Nintendo copied. Oh, let's list all the things. We're talking about Sony right now, and we have, in many instances, talked about when other companies are like Mighty Nerds goes. We got to talk about how Microsoft stole dual analog from Sony. Why? How does that matter to this conversation?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's call it out then. Okay. Like, yes. Microsoft.
Okay, no, Brett, fuck that. No. Everybody stole the Super Nintendo from everybody. There we go. How far back are we going to go? How far
Dude,
back are we going to go? I'm not yelling at you, by the way, Brett. I'm not yelling at you. I'm yelling at the
I feel you.
The chat.
Here's the difference, chat. Xbox had a lot of projects that failed. All right, they tried to get them off, and it didn't fucking work. The difference here is that Sony seems to, and you're right, they don't always do the same thing. Sometimes they just drop it and don't support it, like with the PSVR. Sometimes they choose to refine the technology before they drop it, like the PSP into the Vita. But for some fucking reason, PlayStation takes successful hardware and doesn't support it. That's the main difference here, right? And y'all should be applauding that fact, because I'm essentially saying PlayStation succeeds at things where Xbox fails at things. But y'all ain't gonna hear that. But I am gonna tell you, they bottom out on successful projects, and that's what we're frustrated about. That's the anger that you hear in the room. It's like, I don't know why they do something cool and they just go, never mind. But they fucking do. Meanwhile, Microsoft tries to beat TV into your head until they damn near bankrupts them as a company before they go, oh, you guys like games? Why didn't you tell us?
Yeah, there you go. See, there's your balance right there. By the way, but you're right, Brett. I'm looking at to this day, I look at my Vita like, Sony, why? You have such a great system here. Why? Pero why? Why you do this, man?
Come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, there's the Vita right there. You know. Yeah. But again, I talked about this on Twitter today. I hate this thing when people go, oh, you're talking too much about this company. You need to bring it up. No, I don't. We're talking about the company that's in the topic right now, which is Sony. Right? That's what the fuck we're doing, you know?
Yeah, y'all act like I can't hate everybody.
Yeah, we are equal haters on Throwdown.
We
had a whole fucking gen. We had a whole gen on this podcast rightfully shitting on Xboxes that we're fucking up. They're doing things right, so we're giving them the props. That's all it is, man. You know?
Yeah, it's not even just that, but we're giving them props for Game Pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Pass,
Where's the Ouya? Where's the Ouya?
No, we don't talk about that around here. You know,
we don't talk about Fight Club.
the way they established Game Pass and the way how it is implemented right now is something that, you know, when we look at Sony, it's like, Sony, you gotta get with the times.
Yeah, where's the answer? Microsoft is asking the question, bro.
And this is a semi-answer. It's like, oh, well, we're putting everything together. Remember Xbox used to have Xbox Live Gold and then Game Pass and then xCloud, and they put all those things together. And Sony's doing that with their services. Wish it could have done it earlier with a PS View. I would have paid for that subscription services. Watch TV, play sports.
Yeah.
Watch games and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Mob Hits. Mob Hits. We ran through the Kinect. We hated on that fucking thing, so it definitely got its due, so come on, guys, you got to give us props. We call out the good and the bad here. That's what we do.
The only person in my house that liked the Kinect was my daughter.
But think about how pathetic it's gonna be. Oh, we're gonna lose everything Microsoft has fucked. Why? We're not talking about Microsoft right now. Like here's tangentially, yes, because we are talking about Game Pass. I get that, but they are not the main subject here. They're just an incidental thing here. We're talking about Sony.
Well, you know why? Because everybody feels they have to pick one or the other.
Yeah,
that's all it is. It's like, you're hating on them. It's got to be the other one. No, why can't you just see the faults in all the companies?
That's it. That's what we do.
Even then, why can't? Here's the weird thing. Why can't we just compare digital service to digital service then? The fact that everybody has to pull in things other than the digital service, for me, is honestly pretty fucking telling, because you can't just compare the two equally, because they don't stack up.
Something that I wish Nintendo would copy, everyone?
Everything,
exactly. Give me the trophies, give me the voice chat, please, Nintendo, copy everything.
And I hate the fact they use the excuse, we want to protect the kids. Well, then have it by default off. And then you have to go in and turn the shit on.
They want to protect the kids, but yet in all their advertising campaigns have young adults in there.
Yeah,
playing basketball, man.
You don't see kids all running around, like with their, throwing their fucking switches around.
I mean, have you met kids? They're awful.
They're
all tiny sociopaths.
If you're supposed to be advertising to children, that's like having a G.I. Joe commercial, right, with a bunch of adults playing with the toys.
That'll be you and Adam.
That'd be us.
Call me out. Why you got?
No, but but the thing about it is it's the family console. That is what what the Nintendo thing is. It's supposed to be for everyone. That's why there's adults, and maybe they'll show a kid or two in there.
Jesus, most of these kids go to public school. Like, they don't need protected from the things on Nintendo Switch.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Yep.
All right, man. We'll go ahead because we still got it. Oh, Adam, there you go.
Oh, good. It's upside down, by the way.
It's upside down, Adam. Flip it. Hey, there you go. It was like, hey.
Speaking of G.I. Joe.
Yes, Sergeant Slaughter. All right. Okay, where are we now? Again, we're still answering questions about this topic. To Mecca, who's been joining us as Blitz, very ornery tonight, my friend.
He ornery, man.
Oh, that's what's
yo,
up.
Man, he's gonna come. He's doing the haka right now. He's gonna fly over there.
Yeah, he's fucking everybody up, man.
He's gonna fuck you up, man.
Oh, but Blitz, I'm glad you're here because your question here, I need it's something like alleged against me that I need to answer because it's and it's not a bad thing. It's just something that happens on like social media where everything is just deconstructed to the simplest thing possible. So I'm gonna ask the question, then I'm gonna raise my part first, and we'll answer the question proper. If the PS version of Game Pass is essentially access to the vast catalog of PS games, what are you doing? Are you going to sub, and what are you most looking forward to revisiting? Then he adds this part. Yes, Tony, we know old games are old, and you don't enjoy revisiting many. I need to stop right there. I've said many times, I would love to go back to play old games. I want to play old games all the time. I just don't have the fucking time. I have to, as a game journalist, I can only really play the new shit. I can't just go, I'm going to play Metal Gear Solid 4 today. I don't have that luxury, So it's not that I don't like, here's the thing, because I get it. When people, most of the time when people say, I don't have time for this, they really mean I don't have the patience for this. I am the most literal motherfucker on earth. When I say I don't have time for this, I mean that. I do not have time for it. That's what I mean. I'm not disregarding old games. Obviously, if you remaster an old game, please do, because then I'll actually play it because it's in the news cycle. But the reason I don't play old games is not because I don't want to, it's because I can't. I have to focus on old shit. It's like I think it was 2019, for example, right? That year, I don't think I played a single game for pleasure. I played a fuck ton of games. None of them were played all for work. So, you got to understand where I'm coming from with that, bro. It's not that when I say I don't have time for this, it's not because I don't want to play this. I do not have time for them. It's as simple as that, The
thing is, because the thing is, maybe not so much now, but Tony is, before was very much beholden to the news cycle.
Yeah.
And he has to keep on what is.
I still am. I still am, though.
I mean, you've said, now with your new position, you have said, you have been playing some older sort of titles.
Not really. Metroid, I guess that's old. That came out 2 months ago.
It came out 2 months ago. I mean, you also completed that RPG pretty recently.
That's a new game.
That's a new game, but it's also old news.
Yeah.
It's not.
Tony, I love how you don't have to do gaming news anymore.
No, I do. Who do you think?
I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah.
You're like, I get this new thing at PC. I'm not. Yeah. I'm going to game only for fun, and I'm not going to have to review anything.
That's what I thought.
3.5 days.
Yeah, literally 3.5 days. Like, you do games, don't you, Tony? They bring you right in, So that did not last long at all.
He had his Godfather.
You kept asking for it because remember with all the other games with the Marvel, the Guardians of the Galaxy, you were asking for these things.
Yeah, no, actually, Guardians of the Galaxy was like, hey, a reviewer dropped. Does anybody want it? I'm like, I'll do it. Back for Blood. Like, we don't have any Back for Black for Blood. Like, I've been playing that all summer. Let's go. So yeah, I'm still a computing writer, but I am a game journalist too. Who do you think wrote that story for Tom's Guide? It was me. I wrote the whole PlayStation thing. But our editor in chief came out with that title though. That guy comes up with the best fucking titles, man. It's awesome.
Tony's like I tried to get out.
Hey, they put me back in. So no old games for your boy, only new shit. But again, the trick is obviously if the old game is remastered, then I'm playing it because it's part of the job, All
right, I got breaking news. This is not gaming related, but
by the way, real quick, shout out to Tyir, 2021 first time chat viewer. What's up?
Thank you.
Whoa. Yeah.
Thank you for following.
What's up?
So two good news in a row, man. What a day! What a day!
What the other one's Daredevil? I saw that shit right now.
Yes, Daredevil, man.
How you saw that right now?
Back, dude.
Nice.
Let's fucking go, man.
Do you think?
We're not going to no speculation. We just good news. What's the other one, Carlos? We can talk about that after.
Oh no, the first one was getting the follow.
Oh yeah, there we go.
That's the first one that Charlie.
You're right. Well, you don't join the call. This is the panel. You watch us and you comment right here. I don't know why people sometimes say, like, how do I get in the call? It's like, no, it doesn't work like that.
Maybe they're Warzone people.
Maybe.
It's former Jaffe. That's the way Jaffe does it. Like,
no, we don't. Listen, I've said unless we find a proper way to screen calls, we will not do calls. We need to have somebody to filter the calls first.
Tony,
you can't do it live.
Jaffe does it.
I understand the question now, and I'll explain it with 2 words.
Okay.
Twitter Spaces.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I don't have time for that.
I'm saying that's what
I mean, you have done Twitter Spaces in the past.
I did 2 of them in the last 3 months. That lets you know how often I could do these things.
I mean, it is not. It's not that you don't have the time. We can do that at some point.
That's not happening. Not on top of this show. If we do that, then this wouldn't have to be replaced. We don't have time for 3 fucking podcasts a week.
I mean, it can't be like a 4-hour thing. But I mean, again, you've done 2 of them before
in the last 3 months.
In the last 3 months, of which you said you have no time. You actually did have time.
Yeah, I did.
You did Twitter Spaces.
Yeah, I had to sacrifice shit. All right, so go ahead and go ahead and do it because I don't have time for that, man. Maybe I'll be able to do a Twitter Spaces in February or something.
If you roll up again on this Twitter Spaces shit again.
Yeah.
Record that shit and put it on the
channel. How? It's all on phones, man.
Figure it out.
Yeah, I don't.
We got phones. Don't people have phones?
Yeah.
Come on, man. We got a whole room of people that do technology. I'm sure one of these motherfuckers can figure that shit out.
Yeah.
For you.
My name is Carlos, by the way.
Right?
Call motherfucker with your money.
Yeah. I honestly hope Twitter Spaces eventually goes away, though. What a fucking trash heap, man. It is terrible, I've said that the other day, too. It's like, if you see most of the Twitter Spaces that happen, they're awful,
They're pretty venomous, those things. Like, if
I've never done
people
it.
just like the Halo community.
People talk about like toxic shit.
Yeah.
Like some of those things, like it is pretty.
Listen, I'm gonna name names. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna name the name of the podcast, right? Even though I do know this person, but Paris was in it, just listening to a space, right? And there were people in that chat. They saw him calling him the N-word and tell him they're gonna kill him. All right,
Adam.
Yeah, come on, man.
You know what this is replacing, right?
What's replacing what?
The Twitter Spaces. It's replacing the OG Xbox Live chats.
Oh shit!
Remember back in the day, those were the most toxic places.
Yeah, so that Twitter Spaces is bringing that back. Again, it would be nice to do Twitter Spaces like on a regular because it is kind of, it can be a good conduit because the last one I did with Taylor was really good, but it's like when my schedule's not, I can't do it consistently. That's my point, Manny. You know how I am. Yeah. I could do it. It's just going to be like think about what happened with Tony's takes. Those I just couldn't do them anymore. No. And my thing is like I can name names. I don't want to be one of those people that starts something and then doesn't go with it. And that's partly why we kind of stopped clips. I'm like, I don't have time for that shit anymore.
I think also like the partially also the clips weren't really doing anything.
Yeah.
To be honest, like if anything, if we could somehow mysteriously get make an AI version of Tony and just like make those Tony's takes things.
Yeah, right.
That would be wonderful because I feel like in general those were the things that got a lot of because again you have this way of saying things that literally.
Yeah,
ruffles the feathers.
Yeah, but also and being candid as fuck right now. Also with my new job, I'm trying to chill with some of these takes, because I'm already getting plenty enough hate as it is anyway. With the last article I put out, the last article I put out was like why I chose a PS5 or Xbox. I tweeted it and I immediately muted my own thread. I'm like, I don't need to see the fucking comments, because what's gonna happen.
I saw that article and I'm like, because it's Tony. That's why.
Mm-hmm. Even though literally the week before that I said PlayStation 5 doesn't feel like an next-gen console.
Yeah.
I also muted that one right away, man. So Tony Stakes does not get, because I get too fiery, get too heated up, and I gotta chill. You know, I like my job. I want to keep it. Motherfuckers will try to cancel you over dumb shit. That's just the reality of things now. Yeah, listen. Yeah, I'm not gonna say nothing, but it has cost me money in the past, so we're not doing that shit again. You know. Anyway, as to the question, Mr. Tumeke, he goes, personally, having access to the entire Metal Gear Solid series on PS5 is enough for me. Hopefully they add trophy support. Also, if this service is a glorified backwards compatibility service, should it be called PlayStation? The answer to Nintendo Online, rather Game Pass. We kind of briefly touched on that. But yeah, he just wants to know, are we going to subscribe to this thing if it's real?
I mean,
it depends
on how much and what's on it.
And what are you looking forward to revisiting, you know?
I mean, nothing really.
I mean, the thing about it is like, you know, I mean, I would like to go back to something like a Peace Walker, or like if I could redo my save. But who knows how their save? Who knows how the save system works? Like, can I roll over my save from the PlayStation 3? You know, because I do have some games on there, like, you know, Metal Gear Solid 4 got like trophy support like later on in its, you know, in its thing. And me and Tony whipped that game's ass like before any of that shit was available. So I mean, it would be nice to be able to go back into my old save and just like, you know, play around with that and get some trophies on that shit. But if not, I mean, then if it means I got to go begin again, I don't know if I want to do that. So we'll see. Again, it's like it's all nebulous right now. I mean, granted, you know, you can save your PlayStation 3 saves to the cloud and all that stuff, but yeah, will they allow you to download your PlayStation 3, all your old PlayStation 3 saves if you still have a PlayStation 3?
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of questions we do not know.
Yeah.
It's also like the games, are they getting a new license, or you can work out new deals with EA and all of those, and get some of the EA big. Those are fun games. The NBA Streets and all of those.
Are those a lot of those still on the on Xbox?
No, they're not there. They're not. That's why it's like that would be a new
Xbox,
deal if they can get that.
Xbox effectively closed down their old stores, essentially, and then also all of their games are all somewhat locked behind a compatibility rate. So what, you know, like there are quite a bit of titles, you know, like Rockstar Table Tennis that doesn't play on the new Xbox, does it?
It does. It's backward compatible. Yeah, that's how I play it.
There is at least a list of games that are.
There's a bunch of games. But it's a lot of the ones. But it's just a lot of the third party ones that people would want to play, like the NBA Street and all of those. Those are not there. They're not on the Xbox, and it'd be amazing. It's not even on the EA Vault, which is part of that EA Game Pass. Whatever plugin that's on Xbox, those games aren't even there. So it has to do with some kind of licensing with the NHL or NBA or whatever, which sucks because those are the ones I spent the most time playing on those older consoles.
Yeah, so it's gonna be interesting to see how a lot of this stuff plays out. But I mean, with third party exclusive games like MGS4, and a bunch of other ones. How is that gonna work? You know, it'd be interesting.
I'd like to play if they're gonna have the PSP, because remember Metal Gear did that PSP collection that had the Famicom and all of those.
No, that's on the
Vita. Damn, that was on the Vita.
No, that was on the Vita. That was on the Vita.
Yeah, Vita. That's what I'm saying. I had Vita. Yeah, that's right.
But the thing about it is that it's on the PlayStation 3. Those two games were on there.
Is that there now? Is that on PS now to play the old NES version?
No, you can't play the old NES version. You have to play it on MGS3. In other words, you have to play it through another game. In other words, it was included part of that other game. So you can play MGS original Metal Gear on the Metal Gear Solid 3 game. That's the way they did it. So you can play 1 and 2 on the Metal Gear Solid.
What was it? I bought a set. I guess it's for the Vita. I had the physical on that
one.
Well,
yeah, it's.
And it had all of those older ones, and it had that on there.
It has Metal Gear 2, Metal Gear Solid 2, Metal Gear Solid 3, and then in Metal Gear Solid 3 you can access Metal Gear 1 and Metal Gear 2.
Oh, okay.
So if you had Metal Gear Solid 3, you can play 1 and 2 on that one. So yeah. But again, like those games, like how will all of those games sort of work, and what sort of what is there going to be? Again, it's like Sony hasn't officially closed down their old store yet. Their PlayStation Vita store is still open. Their PlayStation Portable store is still pretty much open because it's part of the Vita store. And then all of their their games, all those things are sitting on there. So is this their solution to being able to close down all that old shit?
Maybe that's why they did it. They said, "Why forget about buying the games? We want you to sub to this service. We'll make more money in the long run of subbing than you just with a one-off buy."
Maybe this is because they never gave a close down date for the 3 store or the Vita store. Yeah. The PSP store is the one that did close down. But yeah, how is this going to work? Like, are you just going to be able to roll over? And then the other thing is, like, if you bought these games already, does that mean you're going to have access to them on the PlayStation 4?
You mean like it's going to recognize that you've purchased it?
Yeah, because like me and obviously we have quite a bit of all of us who've played PlayStation have quite a bit of digital library left over from the Vita days, from the PSP days, Vita days, because all the stores were connected.
Be nice if they added if they did their own version of Microsoft's experience thing that we just saw, that anniversary, and then it would be cool if they had some integrated. Like once you sign in, it's like these are all the games that you own for the PSP, the Vita, the PS3. You can play these; they're on the service, and you just highlight it and just you can start playing it.
Their version of that will be PlayStation Home. it'll literally just roll up.
Bring it back, Home 2.0.
It's funny. I think, as I remember, they said that PlayStation Home was actually sort of ghost developed by EA. But I think that's a sort of a funky, weird rumor about it. Anyway.
All right, move on. Next. All right, no more PlayStation stuff. Moving on to the other one, Xbox. But something that's not so good though.
What's this?
All right, this is from Kishak, who's been joining us tonight. What are your thoughts? Yeah, what are your thoughts on the toxicity of the Halo Infinite community? The subreddit rHalo was recently locked down because of it. It also seems like the fix it later mentality and why are you complaining? It's just free mindset has broken the camel's back. All right, someone needs to fill me in because I didn't know this until tonight, but I did see on Twitter where I think Reddit or whatever made an official statement. It's like, yo, we're shutting this shit down. This is too fucking much.
Wow, it's really getting that bad. Like Reddit's actually saying, no, we're closing this shit down.
Yeah, they're gonna open it back up tomorrow, but yeah, they're like, fuck this. This is too much right now.
So why are they? I haven't been paying full attention to what is it? Just because the online mode is just all fucked up, or what's going on?
I hope somebody in the chat lets them know. I literally didn't know about this until like.
Yeah, I don't know. I played it. Carlos has played it though. I haven't experienced any issues with it.
But something must be going on. That's getting the Reddit guys pissed off.
Oh wait. Maybe it has to do with the whole thing with the hackers on the PC end. I know that's been an issue, and what they're trying to do is to get Microsoft to just lock it down where it's only console players playing on the console and not against PC, because PC figured out a way to cheat where they're shooting through walls and guns and stuff. So maybe that's it. Maybe they're...
All right, let's go over to our favorite place, Kotaku. I love their headline right here. Halo subreddit temporarily shut down because angry gamers won't stop being toxic assholes. That's the headline.
Wow, man! If they are not a fucking a baiting fucking site, that fucking title.
Let me go to a more even tempered one. Halo subreddit temporarily locked down due to negativity. Let's go with that one. This is from Screen Rant. I'm reading this just verbatim off of there. Actually, hold on. Let's read what the actual Halo Reddit said. On all sides, this has absolutely gone on long enough and spiraled out of control. The amount of toxicity the subreddit from both sides has made it impossible for people to have civil discussions, which is what the mod team strives for, regardless of opinion. Some users on the sub have even have been responsible for doxing and death threats
Here we go.
Yeah, we're temporarily putting the subreddit on lockdown so people can hopefully settle down a bit. We can hit the reset button before launch. At the end of the day, this is a video game, and this level of vitriol is unwarranted. So what is going on? Let me read this thing. The popular Halo subreddit has just been temporarily shut down by its mods in response to toxic negativity surrounding the launch of Halo Infinite's multiplayer. A reception of the long-awaited free-to-play multiplayer component of the game has been somewhat mixed, forcing developer 343 Industries to adjust Halo Infinite's progression over the past few weeks. I know that's been a point of contention there. While many fans are welcoming these changes and improvements, others feel that the studio isn't doing enough to deliver a worthy multiplayer experience. Halo Infinite's multiplayer surprised fans when it launched, but whatever, we don't care about that. Where's the controversy? The controversial battle pass and progression systems continue to stoke fervent and at times toxic discussion, resulting in a temporary shutdown of the Halo subreddit. So that's what it is: the battle pass and the progression. People are still mad about that. You know?
Yeah, since day one, people have been talking about that progression system.
What was the deal with the progression system? I'm not in the know on this one.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what it is because I've only played a couple.
I was about to say, nobody here has played Halo, right? No, we just it's not a game. I think that's passed by us now. You know.
But yeah, like like I think it's the way the progression system, like how long it takes to actually progress and level up with the games you play and how good you play. I guess it doesn't really take that into account.
Yeah. This is the final paragraph. Was there are valid criticisms that can be leveled against Halo Infinite and the execution of its multiplayer particulars. The model isn't very player friendly, and it seems to have been implemented to push gamers towards making microtransactions. I've heard that too. Yeah. However, as the aforementioned Reddit post points out, Halo is just a game, whatever. All right, but yeah, so that's another thing too. The microtransactions, people are happy about that. But again, if you are unhappy with these things, voice your concerns. Don't fucking make threats. You know, how is that going to help anybody? You know, like if you theoretically kill the developer, who's going to make these changes for you then? Right? It's insane.
I did see that the Sketch, one of the people from 343, was talking with the people, but it didn't go anywhere.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was a shit show, and yeah, it's one of those double-edged swords with releasing a game that's like so accessible to everyone essentially. It's free to play and it's on PC and Xbox, and you're gonna get a lot of people, a lot of eyeballs into these games, and yeah, I've complained about the progression system since Halo 4.
Oh shit!
But that's why I didn't really the Halo Infinite's multiplayer. I wasn't really too keen on playing that. I'm more interested in the campaign. So yeah, that's why I'm not really in the know about what are the issues going on. But yeah, Battle Pass and the experience going, like the progression system. That's probably the biggest focal point.
Yeah. So it's because of that we got all this insanity. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I've heard people just not happy about that and the microtransactions too. But yeah,
the ironic thing is that this technically this version of Halo Infinite multiplayer is still in beta.
Yeah,
which is the funniest thing of all. That's I guess that's what they get for releasing it early.
Yeah, right.
Quote unquote.
That's crazy.
It's sad, man. All this hate, all this negativity, man.
Yeah, which makes the next. Yeah, no, you're right. Which makes the next question kind of ironic. This is from one subset. Very simple, straightforward question: is Halo back? Or is Halo multiplayer back? I guess he's evoking the old days.
It was never like this.
No, I mean not the toxicity. He's talking about it in a positive light. Like, is it back? Is it back to where it used to be? I don't think so. Hey, Call of Duty, fucking, it's the monster.
It's never going to be back to the way it was, but it is I think regardless of what's going on with this whole Reddit's issue, I think it's in a way better place than it was the last couple of iterations. I feel like a lot of people are still excited about this multiplayer. We'll see about the campaign. I mean, it's free on Game Pass, so, and you're gonna have a lot of people playing it regardless. So I think we're in a better place than we were, 5 to 10 years ago. But if this is in reference to the glory days, the quote unquote Halo, Halo Combat Evolved, Halo 2, Halo 3 Reach, I don't think it'll ever get to that point ever again.
No,
it's hard. It's just hard to do that.
Yeah, like again, I agree. Like I see a lot of enthusiasm for Halo. I haven't seen this much enthusiasm in years, which is good, But and again, I'm saying this even as a guy who just saw it from the outside. It is not on that level of the Halo 3 days. It is not even close to that. Because we got the new shininess, even though it's not new anymore. Call of Duty, that's still the FPS game, But no, it's like you said, Carlos, definitely in a better position than it has been, Halo 5, we don't need to say anything more about that, do we?
Yeah, and ironically, all the things that they're trying to do to get it with the times, with the stuff that a lot of people are arguing about, the progression system and the microtransactions. It's it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, man. All right. Moving on here. Another one from one subset. Can Microsoft boast over the next few weeks going into the next quarter since the Xbox Series S was more available during Black Friday, or would that be a false sense of security? And Sony... okay, let's just answer that. He has a comment after that. We kind of talked about this before, right? Yeah, I could boast a little bit. S, sold, but that's not going to last very long. Like middle of January, I think then, that wave's already passed, Because again, it's cool that people are buying the S and they're excited, but those motherfuckers want that X. That's what they really want,
We sort of did talk about this.
Yeah, we did. That's why we're not going to go too deep into it. We kind of talked about it last week. Go ahead, Chris. Any thoughts?
Well, yeah, I think the last time we talked about it was in reference to if S is going to become the system of the generation just because of availability. And I had said no. I mean, just because people are settling for it doesn't make it that's not what people want. They're just like, well, I can't get an X, so I'll get this, or I can't get anything, so I'll get this, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean there's that interest. If the playing field was level, that wouldn't be the case. If the X was more available, yeah, that would be the one selling, and the S wouldn't sell. Or someone who wanted a Switch or PS5 who couldn't get those and just went, oh, I got to play something, and they as Adam would say, gotta have something.
Gotta play something.
They get that, but that surge fades, right? But Black Friday surge, the holiday surge fades, and then buying levels out. But when there's systems available, whether it's PS5 or the X or Switch, they'll, everything will balance out again.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much everything we said on the last segment, last episode, I should say. All right, moving on here. Mopheads, let me know if you're still in here because I kind of don't understand your question here. He goes, do you guys think Microsoft would have now kept Bungie, or better yet, that Bungie would have stayed? I don't understand what this is a reference to.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't understand the question there.
Could you repeat that again?
Do you guys think Microsoft would have now kept Bungie, or better yet, that Bungie would have stayed?
Yeah, well, yeah, he answered his first part of the question. Yeah, but it wasn't up to Microsoft.
No, Bungie.
Yeah, Bungie they were the ones that dipped,
Yeah.
They did. Yeah, they. I think Bungie definitely does not regret the decision because Destiny is a freaking cash cow for them.
Yeah,
and they're independent now, so yeah, they do not regret anything. They would do this, going into Activision, to partner with them, 10 out of 10 times.
Oh yeah, they would never. They would not go back to Microsoft. That's not going to happen. But yeah, if we misinterpret your question, please let us know because I don't really understand. I just want to know what the context is. I don't understand. All right, moving on here. This is not this one I'm not going to add as a official question because I'm like, what the? This is a weird question. From Illustrated Dio, our boy.
What's up, Dio?
He goes, am I the only one that wants King Trash versus Hip Hop Gamer Video Gamer Rap Battle. King Trash.
I've never heard of him.
King Trash.
I don't know. If anybody in the comments would let us know who this King Trash is.
Our age is showing, apparently.
And Carlos is with it. He doesn't even know who the fuck this guy is. You know,
I do know Hip Hop Gamer.
Though. I know Hip Hop Gamer. You know, I know Hip Hop Gamer.
We've known him for quite a long time.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. Anyway, the next question here is the next two are actually about the Game Awards, which will be streaming next week. By the way, do you need to have a co-stream license? I've heard some people talking about that. How do I get that? Because
I don't know, but I know that you have to get approved for it.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. I was watching. Actually, I was watching a review tech video the other day, and he's talking about he was going to stream the VGAs. Like, oh, and they're letting people stream it. So I'm going to stream it. That's what he said. So I don't think.
Yeah, but I heard people going, I got my license today.
Yeah, there's a few people that I follow and said the same thing.
Maybe it's like something like a direct feed. You know what I mean?
I don't know. If anybody in the chat can let us know, because I don't want to be streaming this shit and be like, oh, you can't do it. You didn't do the license. You know?
I mean, call up your boy. Let's call up Jeff and see what's he.
Yeah, right. Yeah, let's get him on the horn. You know.
Let's get him on the horn and see what he says.
I just realized kids won't understand that reference. The horn. That's a phone for you kids. You know, because old phones, right, that you click on, they look like horns. You know.
Yeah.
Around the horn.
If you've ever seen old movies, you walk into a phone booth and they talk into that little horn on the corner, and they're like, "Get me in the Chicago Tribune."
Yeah.
Headline.
Yeah, no, people like when I said the horn, I'm like, wait, hold on, people won't know what the fuck that means. You know. Anyway, what world premieres do you guys think will be unveiled at the show? Do you think there's gonna be gameplay and CG trailers? And how far out do you think any of these games shown will be from actually being released?
Yeah. I mean, you know what I am expecting?
A bunch of bullshit.
I'm expecting a bunch of commercials.
Yes.
I think Kojima's gonna have something.
Oh, I know what I'm expecting. I know what I'm expecting. I'm expecting Jeff Keighley to make a statement on Activision. You saw what happened to him on Friday, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They came after your boy.
Still don't understand that. What happened? Because you guys were going off on it. I couldn't follow it.
Here's the thing. They came down on him for being in the middle about the whole situation, and that was the problem.
I mean, bring it back, Adam. So what happened is, the whole thing with Activision has been going on lately and all that shit. Yeah. So Jeff Keighley, I don't know where he said this, but he said that he would not be commenting on that during the Game Awards, right? And then
they're on the panel.
Yeah, they are on. Yes, they are on the panel. So a bunch of industry people started coming at Jeff Keighley like, "Oh, so you commented on the whole thing with Kojima and Konami, but you won't comment on this?" So like literally hours later, he said, "Okay, we won't have Activision at the awards or some shit like that." You know?
Yeah.
Which and I understand some of the opinions that are gonna be come out from this panel, but I do kind of agree. If you're gonna call someone out for trying to be about that life and then he's not about that life, then call him out.
Here's the thing, and he answered it before I even said anything in our little chat thing. But to be honest, Jeff Keighley is not about making any fucking stances. I know Kojima sounds like a stance, but it really isn't a stance because the bigger thing about this is that Konami was not funding the Game Awards like Activision is, and in general, Jeff Keighley does not comment on anything when the people in question are essentially paying the bills.
Mm-hmm. Konami wasn't paying the bills, so he could talk all he wants.
Yeah,
you know.
That's why he was able to talk. That's why he was able to talk all that fucking smack about it because Konami had no connections with Konami, and at the time, let's just face it, Konami was not doing anything that he felt was worthy of showing.
Konami's gonna revoke the pachinko credentials.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. What were they? Were they showing anything at that time? So that's why he was able to make a stance, because they weren't flipping the bill on anything. There's previous situations where there's been things happening and he has not commented on it. What about the point where with the actors? You remember when the actors were fighting for fighting all these companies to get residuals? Did he say anything about that? No, he didn't.
So if Konami was on the panel, do you think he would have had the whole Kojima?
I don't think so. No, he wouldn't.
No,
because that's money.
They would. He would have. If Konami was still actually on the panel, Kojima was on the panel. If they were actually on the panel, you wouldn't have heard him say his little like, oh, blah 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 blah, and this is all that stance. That's the only reason why that happened, is because Kojima was there and Konami wasn't.
Yep.
Kojima wasn't there. That was the whole point.
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't there.
Kojima was on the panel, and he
wasn't there that year. Remember, he was
barred from.
That was why he made that statement.
He was barred from coming there because Konami wouldn't do it. Yeah, I get that, but at the same time, Konami is not getting wasn't a part of that. Part of that marketing strategy. So therefore, Kojima can. Jeff Keighley could say his piece about this stuff.
Yeah, no, exactly.
This is the reason why the Activision thing isn't. Reason why he wanted to keep mum on the Activision thing is because one of their motherfuckers is on the panel, and that guy would have probably instantly said, "Hey, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah.
We're literally paying for advertising spot and to keep your show on here." So he says, "Okay, now." I'm sure what's happened here is, yes, they've been supposedly barred from the show or whatever. They're not going to be involved in the show.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. Yeah.
So who knows what that exactly means? Does that mean that they're going to pull their advertising spots or whatever all that stuff is? I don't know.
Yeah, it says Activision Blizzard won't play a part at the Game Awards. It'll still retain its nominations, though.
Which is
fine.
But the thing is, their games are everywhere. You can't just cut them out, you know?
Yeah, I feel like in general, if you do, maybe they're not going to have a big reveal there, which I don't think Activision has ever had a reveal at the Game Awards, have they?
I don't know. Probably some
can't really be Call of Duty.
No, probably some Overwatch stuff, you know?
Yeah, I definitely think that, I that's why I think he's able to do it. But to be honest, we'll see. I mean, we'll see if he's able to say anything about this.
Well, he made a statement. He already made a statement.
He did make his statement, but will he make it live? That's the other question.
I don't know. I think he will. That's my prediction. He will.
Well, Manny. What's his vision?
My vision. His vision for the Game Awards. Yes, all of those guys have seen his vision for the Game Awards. And again, it's like again, if you're looking to Jeff Keighley for those hot takes about current events, he's not the place to see it. And the only reason why he even did this is because he was pressured.
Yeah, exactly. But as to the actual question, are we actually not looking forward? What do we expect to see? Yeah, just a glorified commercial like always. You know?
Yeah, just a giant glorified commercial. We're gonna make sure we have some interesting characters on the shows to keep you guys interested, because otherwise we would all be falling asleep during that bullshit.
Yeah, they're gonna pull out Shang-Chi. You know, I'm not making that up.
They're gonna pull out Shang-Chi. You know, he's gonna clap for himself because his movie actually did good. So
Yeah, basically the usual nonsense, a bunch of these presenters that shouldn't be there, a bunch of commercials, a bunch of ads, a bunch of weird musical performances.
And then somebody's going to get an award, and then they're going to immediately announce they're immediately going to announce the sequel of whatever they're talking about, after they've taken their award home.
Or they announce the sequel and then they get an award later, because that's how it goes.
Yeah, then they get an award later.
And all the people that win the awards are just conveniently in the front row.
No, Tony. No, they're not in not the more recent one. They were right there.
Yeah.
All they have to do is climb up the little stairs, and that they're right there. They're waiting.
Yeah. To be honest, again, it's like. They know that, I'm sure the actual people that got who are in the seats, they already know they're already winning. They know they're winning, and they're not gonna. The sad thing about the Game Awards is that it feels even more. What's his face says fuck the Oscars. Literally, you can see how contrived the fucking Game Awards is.
Yeah, and this is why we're not answering the question directly, because whatever, man, it's gonna be a bunch of nonsense. Go ahead.
I'm sure Brett's going to like this. I think that Starfield will be there.
I agree
because we're like a year out from the date, so it makes sense that we'll see something. So I'm assuming that there'll be something at the Game Awards and maybe something around the E3 timeframe.
Brian,
what's up?
We're actually less than a year from Starfield.
Excuse me.
Whoa!
Yes.
11/11.
Wait,
I don't know.
No, we're still more than a year, motherfucker. Do your math.
No, it's coming out November 2022. We're in December 2021.
Wait, but what's the date though? Like the
it was
date,
like 11. Wasn't it 11/11?
Yeah, it's 6 right now, baby.
No,
11 is November, not December.
November.
Oh, I thought it was December for some reason. You right, man? You right?
Let me check. Let me
double check, please. Yeah, because for some reason I had it in my head that it was December. November. That's good.
No. Yeah. So we are within 1 year of Starfield's proposed date.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Well. I agree with Brian. Starfield.
I mean, that's
hopefully it'll be actual gameplay, not some more fucking concept art like they did the last video. You know, the last 2 videos. Excuse me. I'm like, come on, guys, what are we doing here?
Well. So I got 2 things. One for Brian's prediction and one against Brian's prediction.
Oh,
and one of the points Brett's gonna completely agree with me because he mentions it every like month. The thing against Brian, that's another one.
Fallout 76.
There you go.
Is that Fallout 76? The point that goes for Brett is Bethesda doesn't announce, like their big title. Like at least recently, they haven't really shown their big titles like that far in advance. Fallout 4 and Fallout 76, and what else have they released the last decade? That's it. But
Skyrim 9 times.
Well, yeah, Skyrim 9 times. But they haven't really. They've maybe they'll go through the whole. We'll show it at E3 and release it a couple of months. Well, that's the negative part. But the positive part is, I mean, the last big announcement that the Game Awards did was the announcement of the new console, the Xbox console. So it's a whole Xbox announcement. So could be something there.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. I don't care. I mean, we're going to stream it or we don't give a shit. All right. Moving on. Next question, also related to the Game Awards. This is from Tumeke. With the Game Awards happening this week and the overall disdain by the crew for what is a 2 to 3 hour advertisement. Yes, can you tell we don't like this show very much? What are your anti-Game Award awards? Worst narrative, worst narrative, worst graphics, worst action. I don't want to be mean, so I'm not gonna participate in this.
Anti-Game Awards.
I like the idea, though. I like the idea.
And for the 5th year in a row, the anti-game of the year, Life of the Black Tiger.
Oh, Yeah, I'm not trying to be mean. I could name some names that came out this year, but I was like, let's fit some of these,
I mean, they're not people. They don't have feelings.
Yeah. Well, the developer, well, not developers, PR,
the people that make that make those things have feelings.
Exactly,
And for the anti,
have some fun.
And for the
hey, I'm not stopping you guys. You go right ahead.
And for the 2021 anti-trending gamer, it's that VP that got fired from Sony.
Oh man,
that's actually a good category. Like company that's fucked up the most.
No, there's a lot of
Activision,
There we go.
Ubisoft.
Oh, here's one.
I do have one, Brian. I do have one, man. Oh no, never mind. The Sony. I was gonna say biggest scumbag. I was gonna say Bobby Kotick, but the other guy wins. The VP wins for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I mean they're
you notice how I didn't worry about hurting Bobby Kotick's feelings though. Oh man.
Here's one that I am sure that people would be happy if this company won this one. The game that's still not fixed award, and it goes to Cyberpunk. That's probably like the only award that people will be happy that Cyberpunk wins. I swear.
You're right.
It's in line to win an award this year in the actual award show.
I wanted to win just for the trolls, man. Just for the lols, excuse me.
If you're talking about categories that be crowd favorites, how about just a category that's game that is Last of Us 2?
Oh.
Apparently that thing just needs to win everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the anti-game awards. So it's like worse this, worse that.
To be fair, it didn't win Game of the Year, did it?
Oh, I don't know. It brought in a bunch of shit, you know. Yeah, like basically the gaming version of the Razzies.
Oh yeah, the Razzies. Oh, it did win. Never mind. You're right.
Oh, it won Game of the Year?
Yeah.
There it is, man.
I mean, or you could just put it under games people still won't shut up about.
Right. Yo, I saw a Spaces about it. I'm like, why are you talking about this game a year later? Who cares? You know?
I mean, you know how people still talk about Dune.
Yeah, but Dune is awesome. It came out like 2 months ago, man. You know? Not fucking like a year and a half ago, you know?
Ooh, I guess some really cool categories.
Go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
Do it.
Based off what you guys were just talking about now, a game that people just won't shut up about. Mechany Award. A game that damn, I had it and then I lost it.
So would The Last of Us 2 be the game people won't shut up
about? The most forgotten game, Brian?
Yep.
Yeah.
That is exactly it, Tony. Like, the game that came and went and everyone forgot about.
Oh, New World!
No, Destruction All-Stars. Everyone forgets that that's an exclusive. That came out this year. Everyone forgets about it.
Yep.
I feel like I'm like the only one that remembers it. Like,
I thought that was a fever dream.
That's the thing.
Gave it to people.
Oh, I could say something, but
another one of those people won't shut up about.
Game that's Breath of the Wild, but the best Dark Souls off game.
Yes,
that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And the winner is every game.
Best game that's called. Oh, the best game that is said to be like Dark Souls, but it's nothing like Dark Souls.
You mean fucking Death's Door? Throw that in there. I literally had someone go, "Isn't that a Dark Souls?" I'm like, "No, not at all. What the hell are you talking about?"
In the fact that you press buttons, sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's graphics. Yeah.
The side by side nominees of the most anticipated game.
No,
from last year and this year. It's the same game.
It's the same games.
Really? Oh man!
Yeah, it's like God of War, Breath of the Wild, Horizon Zero Dawn, and some other games. It's like it's the exact same for 2020 and 2021.
Oh my god, that is funny, man!
Just shows you how terrible these awards are.
Yeah, fucking bullshit. All right, man, let's move on. I don't want to talk about the awards anymore. We'll do a whole show on it. Okay, this is from Chackzilla.
Yo.
All right. What game had the best story in 2021? This year wasn't really exemplary when it comes to story games, you know.
Guardians of the Galaxy was a pretty good story.
That was good. It
was fun. It was enjoyable.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed Deathloop's story.
Deathloop was good. That was good. But yeah, there wasn't any stories. I mean, I'm for myself. I'm like, that was like, oh my fucking god. There was
what
just
about
like,
what about that RPG you've been playing?
Yeah, that's a really good one. But it's not like, oh my god, my mind's blown away, dude. You know, it was good. It was good. You know.
You know why? You know why your mind is not blown away? You're jaded and old.
I'm not denying that, man.
You're jaded and old. And the people that are younger don't know any better.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the natural corollary with when you have a high repository of information where it's like okay, I'm watching something, let me compare it to something else I watched that's similar. Is it as good?
You know, speaking about that, you know, just, you know, it's related, and I am not shitting on this. I have to make it clear, I'm not shitting. I thought this was a good movie, right? So I finally saw the Tom Cruise time looping movie, right? And
Lived Out Repeat.
And everybody's like, "Oh my god, it's fucking amazing! But it's amazing, right?" So I watched it, like, "Oh, this was really good." When I saw it on Star Trek and and Stargate, so I liked it. But I'm like, I've seen this already. So Carlos, that goes to your point. It's like when you kind of seen all this shit, it's hard to get super excited,
and you understand why. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Oh no, go first.
And I guess you understand why a lot of people really liked it, because it's a Tom Cruise movie. A lot of people that watch Tom Cruise movies probably aren't Star Trek fans.
Oh yeah, right. That's a good point. But then again, then you have something like Dune. It's like, holy shit, this is great, because it's not like the usual bullshit we keep getting. The
one thing though, I and I have actually listened to the book on tape of the original All You Need Is Kill. And the soft.
I just want to say this right now, Manny. Sorry to cut you off. I just want to say this right now. This is how you know Manny and I are fucking old. Book on tape. You could have said audiobook.
Audiobook. Whatever. Same shit. Anyway, I listened to that. It's called All You Need Is Kill. Is the original name. Obviously, you can see why they switched the name around. But it's a lot more complicated. As far as the how deep a lot of this stuff goes. And it's, I think they did a pretty decent adaptation of it. But the main character in the book, he is not he's essentially a normal Japanese young guy. It's not supposed to be Tom Cruise, like some old dude.
Also, in fairness,
the funny thing about it is that.
We're not gonna let's not get into the specifics of it. I just want I was just doing that to make a point with what Carlos said earlier. When we've experienced a lot of this shit, it's hard to get excited. That's why a lot of the stories that I saw this year were good, but it wasn't like, oh my god. Even with Deathloop, it's like we've if you're a sci-fi guy, you've seen that type of shit a million times before. It was just very well done, obviously. Brett, what were you gonna say?
There's really what did I say? There's only 7 different types of stories.
Yeah, something like that.
7 basic plots. Mm-hmm. So, it only gets worse the more you see and the more you're able to kind of establish a pattern. But that movie, Tony, I think it was one of the earlier looping movies, and so it was still kind of a new trick.
Yeah, no, but is that what it is, Brett? Because I'm talking about in terms of like TV episodes that had been done a million times before that.
It's been done in Groundhog Day.
Yeah, Groundhog Day is like the non-sci-fi version of it.
No, it's a.
Yeah, but I think you're right, Carlos. Like Tom Cruise, but Tom Cruise does sci-fi though. He does sci-fi movies, so they know what's up.
He did Oblivion, literally not long.
Yeah, and then Minority Report before that.
But Star Trek sci-fi and Oblivion and Minority Report sci-fi are kind of different. Like audiences.
What it is like Tom. Like if you one thing you need to know with the Tom Cruise edition of these ideas is they're more openly acceptable. Like the general audience can essentially enjoy.
Yeah, they're more consumer friendly. Yeah,
and they're more consumer friendly than you just throwing a pure. That's why putting Dune out makes is like an anomaly at this point in time, because it's literally a very good adaptation of Dune, which is more hard sci-fi than soft sci-fi.
Yeah, so Dune is not really hard sci-fi, It's bordering on fantasy, actually.
Definitely borders on fantasy, but I feel like it's a little heavier than most sci-fi. You
got to actually think, because the thing about again, this is the last thing we'll talk about. The Edge of Tomorrow. That's the name of the movie, right? Because I saw it, I enjoyed it. But there's a fairly standard action movie, right? Yes. It wasn't really anything special, to me. So I'm just proving Carlos's point. When it comes to games this year, I'm like, because again, Tales of Arise dope. We've seen that before. Deathloop is dope. Seen that before. Ratchet & Clank dope. Seen that before. Resident Evil is a Resident Evil game. What else did I play? Metroid doesn't really have much of a story. There's a story, but whatever. And then there's other shit like Outriders. I'm like, but even that was like Mass Effect Andromeda. It actually reminds me of that. Again, when you've seen it all, that's how it goes. That's why when a game comes out and you're like, oh shit, this is crazy. Very special thing.
Yeah, I think, maybe it's more and more difficult to sort of wow people with something that they've never seen. You know,
I don't know about that many. People are wowed by a lot of shit now. You know.
Well, nowadays, because nobody knows any better.
Everything is, Manny, your favorite word. Your favorite. What is everything now? Amazing.
Yeah, they're all amazing. What is with that?
Yeah.
Even Adam asked me that. He's like, "What is it? Why is everything?"
But
amazing?
logic wins. Yeah, I think I'll just give it to Guardians just by default because it was enjoyable. You know,
it was enjoyable. Yeah. It was true to the source material. It definitely felt like I was reading a comic or watching or playing a comic.
It's not really true to the source.
It's true to the spirit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It felt like, all right, this is a good.
Let me say this. It's true to the spirit. I'm going to say this. It's
true to the spirit of the movie.
It's true to the spirit of what the franchise is now.
Yeah. Can't go from the back. Yeah, I see.
Yeah.
We're not talking. We're not going into the Yondu days and that weird fucking tiger guy.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else best stories of 2000? What about you guys in the chat? Let us know best stories of games.
Do some stories.
Yeah. Returnal didn't have a story. You know.
Well, it does have a story. It's just sort of you can enjoy the story in an hour.
Yeah, but if you get through the game, you know.
Yes, but the thing about it is they took an hour story and stretched it out through whatever amount of hours it takes to beat that game.
Yeah, all I'm saying is I'd rather play Metroid. I'd rather play that, you know, woman on a alien planet than Returnal. You know. All right, I guess nobody else has any answers here. All right, the last one. I'm not going to put this as an official question because we already kind of answered this in the past. But I just want to give a shout out to Alvin Crespo for actually answering. Manny, circling back, he's talking about my Twitter Spaces because he was just saying I caught a bit of your discussion on Twitter Spaces about technical advances and how what we get today will never be the same as the transition from 2D to 3D. So it was about that, and he just asked, what can we see be innovative in games? How will we actually get something that's next gen? So Brett, this is your time right now, man.
Yeah.
Go off, bruh.
I mean, just basic fundamental mechanics. There's a language to video games that we've all kind of gotten used to, that doesn't need to be there. Let's take, for example, clipping, right? Like clipping of armor, clipping of weapons, clipping of hair, fabric, all that shit. We've just gotten fucking used to it. We don't see dynamic collision in any character models. How about realistic ballistic reaction? You know, you hit somebody with a bullet, wing him in the shoulder. Maybe you send him back in a physics realistic way by hitting him in the shoulder. Maybe that can adjust your gameplay to where you're actually bothering doing something other than headshots. Maybe you can shoot the feet out from under enemies. I mean, these are all kind of things that have been played around with, but never really done. Let's bring back environmental destruction, for Christ's sake. You know, we just kind of make things prettier and shinier, but we don't adjust even the other things that are just visual things, like clipping. Like, you know, we're working with lighting a lot, but that's about fucking it, man. You know, we see particle effects, but we don't see anything actually interacting with the environment. We still have fish in a bowl UI where, you know, our only options are to either have them be telepathic or just dumb as hell. You know, we don't see them having any kind of adaptive learning. So yeah, pretty much anything that affects the basic mechanics or the AI, or the world and the way you react to it. I mean, the Nemesis engine is a perfect example. It was this awesome thing that just never really picked back up, and we all kind of just take for granted the fact that, like, yeah, of course no enemy remembers us, and of course things just respawn once we leave a location, and of course the bodies just disappear the second you get 20 feet away from them or sit around for more than 30 seconds, because why not? That's the way video games have always been. But we just got used to that stuff. It doesn't have to fucking be that way. And I honestly think if you got a game that had all of these quality of life improvements at once, that's what would really make people say, now this game feels next gen.
I think that's fair. Even if it looked like not so great.
I mean, yeah, that's how Skyrim, or that's how Elder Scrolls kind of got its name, man. Like, everybody is right in saying that traditionally Elder Scrolls games, people look a little fugly. They look a little weird. Everybody's a little fetal alcohol-y, but
I mean,
you know,
you could say the same for Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, exactly.
Grand Theft
exactly.
Auto. I mean, until recently, Grand Theft Auto games have always been ugly ass games. But the thing about it is, it wasn't really about the prettiness of the game. It was the amount of shit that you could actually do in the game.
I mean, remember the first time you figured out you could just like run in and rob a convenience store? You're like, oh, I mean, like that's almost of no consequence whatsoever. But I mean, that's pretty cool. And I can run in here. I can fucking buy snacks and then eat snacks in the middle of a heist to kind of get my health back up. Like, okay, that's cool. That's a neat thing. You know, I remember riding around with Brian just holding up fucking liquor stores, just fuck it because you could. It was a new thing. It was something to do other than beating prostitutes, kind of thing. So it was a new experience for the game, and it was unique. And I think we need to get more of those in, and it not just robbing liquor stores, but like we've gotten so bad about like the homogenizing the games into pretty much everything is Assassin's Creed Valhalla that if we don't start introducing something to differentiate these games, we're all just gonna be playing the same game over and over and over and over again.
Do you think that this is also the fault of the fact of how much a game actually costs? Because if you look at a lot of the older innovation in video games, yes, granted they were a lot of money, they were created for a lot of money for the time, but there wasn't nearly as much as what's being done today. And it seems like as the years go further and further, the innovation tends to get smaller and smaller.
Yeah, because they're having to play it safer.
Yeah, because they don't want to. Yeah, they want to play it safer. They want to play it safe because they know it's a formula that seems to work. And it always seems like in a lot, you always say this, and again, it always seems like it's the independent space that these sorts of advancements in AI and in certain bits of AI and other different additional things. Once those things get proven in that space, in a lower tier space, then you start to see it sort of leak into the rest of the gaming world. You look at like a game like a Journey with its passive multiplayer, and you notice that there's quite a bit of games that end up having a passive multiplayer system. You look at another, there's quite a bit of other ones that just had these little things that they had that one trick that they do, and then the bigger games start to absorb those things.
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, go ahead.
Oh, we talk about like graphics having nowhere to go, but that's just case in point of how that's not true. Minecraft looks the way that it does because Minecraft generally can't look much better. And not that it's well programmed particularly, but you'll notice that if you play Minecraft on a console, the world size is very limited because it is incredibly demanding, and all the Minecraft knockoffs, for the most part, they look like crap because you're trying to compute so much information that they kind of have a ceiling that they hit. They don't really go past, looking a couple generations old. So we have plenty of room to grow. It's just we don't really have much more room to grow in the vein that we've decided to go in. And I honestly don't know if it's equal parts advancement, but it's also lowering the bar. Like we've accepted less and less and less in games to make them look this realistic over time, I feel like. So yes, we've had progression, but we've also just kind of lowered our standards to meet there. And now that we've hit photorealism, we don't really seem to want to raise our standards again to kind of chase that. We're just, now cool, everything's shiny and photorealistic.
And but the thing that's the conundrum, right? You make things the most flashy, the most flashy, and people pay more attention to that rather than something that is doing something maybe a little bit different under the hood that you may not see on the surface. But that's the same for anything that's out there. You kind of have to make it. You have to make these things as flashy as as flashy as possible to get people's attention, because once you start, if you do roll up with a game that doesn't look, to a certain level, people will just not look at it, just for the plain fact that everybody is so obsessed with the aesthetics of things. You know, the reason why like games like, you know, like Skyrim worked is because at least for its time, it did look good. You know,
I don't know about that. It looked pretty
it,
shitty back then too.
It looked good. It looked good for its. It looked fine for its era.
I disagree with that.
It was acceptable. You know, like it looked fine for its era. It was acceptable because, you know, again, we're talking about an era that also had Grand Theft Auto, which also did not look very good either.
No, it didn't, and nobody said it did look good. You know,
and nobody. But the thing is, again, it's the things that you can do in the game that were the highlight. Oh, you could do this, you could do that, and then, you know, people were willing to, and both, again, with both of those games, glitchy as fuck, by the way.
Yep.
But the amount of shit that you could do in those games, you know, subverted every single bit of, you know, outshined the other parts of it.
Yeah. All right. So, I already said my piece on this. So I don't need to repeat myself.
I don't think the AAA space is exactly the space that advancement in technology, you know, advancement in, you know, not technology, but in AI and all kinds and gameplay and all those things. That is not going to be the place where you're going to see this. You're going to see this happen within the, you know, middle A, which is not very big space, or in the independent space.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to give a shout out to Drunken Guardian, who subscribed to us with Prime.
Thanks.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Uh-oh. Barry, you know what to do with that person. Oh, man. All right, I think we're done here, man. Good show. All right, a couple programming things. So Thursday, we're going to have our live stream of the Game Awards. I believe that's at 8 p.m. Eastern, but it's going to be like 3 hours. You know how long that shit goes. Then Sunday after that will be a regular Throwdown Your Questions, but it'll be the last regular Throwdown Your Questions, right? Then after that, on the 16th will be the last episode of the year for Throwdown. That'll be our, you know, year-end wrap-up. You know, we'll talk about our favorite games, talk about some of the biggest news stories, some stories that happened this month, apparently. Jesus, man. You know? And then on the 19th will be the last episode overall of the year. Throwdown Your Questions will be the AMA special, where you can ask us anything you want. So that'll be pretty interesting. Those shows are always fun, you know. But just 2 questions. We used to do 3, too long, you know. So 2 questions as always. But we'll keep
if you want to have bonus questions, we might adopt some.
We might, we might, you know. So yeah, I think that's it. Manny, what you got for us?
Yes, we have Gotham City Villains Anniversary Giant #1, which is out now in stores. Also, you know, excellence is real always. And now, for those of you out there who did go with our Kickstarter, we're coming. It's coming. Just gotta be patient with that, because we got a lot of different, you know, we got to deal with all the stuff of the, you know, because our Kickstarter came during the pandemic. So yeah, there's a lot of things that are slowing things down, but it's coming, and there should be an update for you guys, talking a little bit more about that pretty soon. Yes, and yeah, I will always have cool stuff coming in the pipeline, so stay tuned for that.
Good stuff. Adam, what you got?
Nothing really.
No Walking Dead, no nukes.
No, Walking Dead is done. It's on break, all of it. The I Am Negan, if you want to check out, if you missed all the other episodes for Fear and all that. But yeah, that's all on break now. And that's just it, pretty much. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff over at the Coalition. Everybody's doing some reviews of games and stuff like that. But
Good stuff.
With a Spider-Man review.
Yeah, Spider-Man, you know. All right, man. So, yeah, you already know. Obviously, you know, thank you guys for joining us tonight. Very lively chat tonight.
We love that.
You already know, man. But it was civil. It was good, you know. Unlike the Halo subreddit.
There you go.
Man. Anyway, make sure you follow Throwdown on Twitch and Twitter. Join the Discord, where Mob Hits will always supply you with the freshest rumors and speculation around. You can find us on any podcast app by searching for Throwdown Show. That's 2 words. Throwdown Show, and you can visit throwdownshow.com to listen to past episodes. If you're on YouTube and you enjoyed the content, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell to be notified of when new episodes of Throwdown and Throwdown Your Questions go live for you guys. Sometimes we lurk in the premieres, so you may catch us in there sometimes, you know. And yeah, links to everything down below. Once again, I'm your host, Tony Polanco. And tonight, I was joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you next time.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Peace out.
Adam Vale.
Have a good week, everybody.
Brett Murdoch.
Keep it real.
And Brian Manjoma.
There, people.
All right, guys, you already know Thursday Game Awards. Later.
Deuces.
Ladies.